What's happening, my friends? What's going on? What's happening? Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day. Whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or even the latest buzz, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. My friends, how are you all doing this evening? Let me tell you. It is so great, as always, to kick back, have a convo with you, my friends, the listeners and viewers out there. Thank you so much for your continuous support of the Arrington Gavin Show. Look, I have some amazing news to announce at the end of the show. I just, I don't know how I'm so excited. But yes, have some awesome news to share with you later on in the show. Before we get going, as always, want to thank you all taking the time out your busy schedule to chime into the Aaron to Gavin show. We are an unbiased, independent weeknight program. You can find us on any digital or streaming platforms of YouTube as well as Rumble. Our YouTube channel is R Smooth Club Media. Okay, the letter R and then Smooth Club, smooth like peanut butter, Smooth Club Media. All right, or you can type in the Arrington Gavin Show, and that's another quick way you can find us. So multiple ways you can either type in our title of our YouTube channel, our Smooth Club Media, or you can type in the Arrington Gavin Show. Also, you can find us on Rumble at the Arrington Gavin Show, as well as wherever you get your podcast, whether that's iHeart, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, so any Odyssey. We're on all podcast platforms. Let me see, what else am I leaving out? Oh, you can also tune into our program on our radio affiliate, WDJY 99.1 FM, Straight Talk, out of the Metro Atlanta area. We air Monday through Fridays at 11 p.m., as well as Monday through Fridays online at WDJYFM.com. So multiple ways you can listen in and tune into the program. Now, if you want to follow us to stay in tune to what we got going on, and if we can't share it here on the show, we share it on our digital and our on our social medias, like X, formerly known as Twitter, at the Arrington Gavin Show, as well as Instagram at the Arrington Gavin Show, and on Substack. So we're on multiple avenues, y'all, and we want to keep on we just want to keep growing. There's so much content to discuss, and it's just, look, it's not easy doing what I'm doing, but I do it because I love doing it, man. This is fun. I love doing this, y'all. So again, I'm just here having a great time. Look, on today's conversation, we're gonna get into it with some politics, a little bit of sports, and also some pop culture, just to kind of give you a go ahead. We're going to talk about a serious accusation that media mogul, hip hop icon, businessman Jay-Z recently has accused of. I'll talk a little more on that later on. Also, comedian Andrew Schultz is speaking out after he and Kendrick Lamar has kind of been in a little beef online, not in person, but just, speaking against each other and kind of doing this whole back and forth thing. So I'll talk a little bit on that as well. Also, former Congressman Jamal Bowmen out of New York recently shared his reason why the Democratic Party lost this recent election. So we'll talk a little more on that as well. And then we have a couple of more other things, as well as a huge announcement later on in the show. So again, my friends, you are listening in. If you're late chiming in, you are listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm your host, your friend, Arrington Gavin. Let's see here. Y'all, I just hope you all had a great day. I recently just left an event where I was hosting. I was a red carpet host at the 11th annual 2024 Black Men Rock Image Awards, which is a prominent award ceremony that's held here in Hampton Roads, Virginia. It showcases and honors so many amazing Black brothers out there in the community that are doing great things in the world of music, community work, whether it's politics, just giving back, nonprofit philanthropic work, acting. What else? I mean, finance, you name it, ministry as well. I mean, it's it's a beautiful, beautiful ceremony that I always look forward to go. I was actually honored to receive an award in 2023 for top entrepreneur of the year. It was unexpected. I got a knock at my office door, and I'm just like, who is this? And in comes the team, Miss Latrice Carter, who's a dear friend of mine, but also one of the co-founders of the Black Men Rock Image Award, alongside her friend, the late great Jacoby, uh, uh, who has he recently, he passed in 2022. He was a gentleman that reached out to me social media, and it was just it was start of a conversation. I always my dad told me this before, y'all, and he told it to me really while I was playing sports in high school. I played football, track and field. Those were kind of like my two main sports. Um, he told me in football, and y'all might, those who are football fans or former football athletes, might have heard this before too. The eye in the sky doesn't lie. The eye in the sky never lies. Um, what he meant by that is when you're at practice, don't lollygag. Don't You never know who's watching. Don't always give your all wherever you're at. Always give it 110% because you don't know who's watching. Coaches are always filming. You can say you had a great practice, but your coach will say otherwise. Well, here's what the film says, right? So I always took that and stretched it out outside of sports. I'm like this. Whenever you see me, I'm always gonna be gracious and respectful. I'm always gonna be, willing to say, "Hey, how you doing? I'm doing great. How you doing?" Always with a smile, never rude. I could be having a rough day, but that's just not my presence. I keep it positive 24/7. Because life is too short, y'all. You got to be grateful the fact that you're waking up this morning. You got to be grateful that you have clothes on your back. You got to be grateful that you have food on your table, a house to go to. You know what I mean? It's just, you got to be grateful on so many of the little things that people underestimate, because you got to realize we're still, this is still the greatest country in the world. Yeah, we have our flaws, but we have so many privileges that not other countries have. And not even just, in countries, but here in, here in the United States, we have folks who are who are underprivileged, right? We have fixing. Oh, while I'm talking to you, I'm also fixing some stuff. Uh, we have folks who are underprivileged. Again, don't have much. Look, we're over here. It's during the holiday season, man. There's folks that are not going to have a great holiday season. Why? Because they don't. They can't afford it. So, what I'm trying to say is, guys, you just never know who's watching. And to kind of bring it back to the Black Men Rock Image Awards, the fact of the matter is, I was getting acknowledged for my work that I'm like, wait, what? Me? I didn't know I was. But you just never know. You never know that your actions lead by example for the next person coming behind you, right? I work hard every day, not just because I want to receive accolades. For one, I want to work hard because I love what I'm doing. I'm passionate what I'm doing. I want to work hard so I know I can help provide for my family, myself, help make my parents proud, make my wife proud. I want to continue to climb up that corporate ladder. I want to continue to climb up the world this of in radio, in podcasting. I want to continue to grow in that avenue. And it takes a lot of hard work. It takes consistency. It takes criticism too, because guess what? We're not all perfect. We gotta learn from our mistakes. It takes a lot of hard work and time and no sleep. You know what I mean? So this award show, Black Men Rock Image Awards, it showcases Black men who are doing some awesome things in the community. Because let's be honest, y'all, Black men, we are still the demographic that doesn't get our due diligence. Now, I didn't say all men, I said Black men. Because let's be honest, it's a white men's world. And I don't mean to say that in in a harsh way. It's just upfront. Like, white men are always getting the praise for this and that, and always been top tier. Out of all ethnicities and nationalities, Black men has always been at the bottom. The society will judge us saying, "Oh, we're the incarcerated group," or we're the we lack education, or we just don't know much. I mean, we get criticized day in and day out. And I mean, what award show do you know that showcases black men? And please do not say, "Oh, the BET Awards or the hip hop awards." Look, I'm honored for those award shows. I'm not criticizing them at all, but I feel as though, me personally, the hip hop awards, that's there to showcase hip hop artists of all races, and they need that. Now, I have a kind of a bone to pick with the BET Awards, because BET Awards initially was to showcase black entertainment. Since then, I feel as though BET only showcases hip hop, hip hop, hip hop. It doesn't show the versatility as much as I wish it should. If that I wish it showed. It doesn't show as much versatility. It shows a certain narrative that I think doesn't represent black entertainment as a whole. That's just my honest opinion. But again, I was honored recently at the 11th annual Black Men Rock Image Awards to host the red carpet, and so I had an opportunity to speak with some remarkable brothers out there that are doing some awesome stuff. I spoke with a gentleman who was the first African American police chief in his town. I spoke with a gentleman who was the first African American mayor of his city. I spoke with stellar award winners. I spoke with men who are doing awesome things, financial literacy. I spoke with a 20-year-old that is just so sharp and, I mean, clean, got his head straight, man. It's so awesome. I spoke with so many folks, man. It was dope. So I'm fired up. I'm fired up to speak with you all, and I'm fired up. I'm fired up. What can I say? I'm fired up. What we're gonna do here? We're gonna take a quick commercial break, my friends, and when we come back, we will have our fun fact of the day, and then we're gonna get it going with our topics. So, look, my friends, do not go anywhere. You are listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. We'll be right back. All right, family. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. Let's get it going with our fun fact of the day. Did you guys know that the United States Navy uses Xbox controllers for their periscopes? Did you guys know that? I wanted to make sure I fact checked this because I didn't want the whole military branch coming after me. So let me explain. So in 2017, the U.S. Navy announced it will begin using Xbox 360 controllers in submarines to operate the photonic mass, which replaces periscopes. I mean, straight mind blown. I'm sorry. I'm very mind blown at this. Just the fact of the matter is that the game system controllers that your children uses, or grown men and grown adult that uses it too, that stuff is being used in our military. So think again, parents, if you want to criticize your child or whoever is near you that overindulge in games and things in that nature, like, please do not criticize them, because look, that can be used as a serious tool. I mean, let's be honest, man. EA Sports is a scholarship sport now in colleges and universities. Video gaming is a very lucrative industry. When I was a kid, I was a big fan of the sports games. I mean, all sports games, mostly Madden and NBA 2K, and then wrestling. Those are my top 3 video games that I've always been been a fan of, always been pursuing. And I honestly I haven't played video games whew, since Lord have mercy. I probably haven't played. I stopped playing video games. I'm gonna say when I was in high school. I might have been a junior is when I stopped. When it got to when I was a senior, I already said that well, I'm not bringing my game system uh uh to um to college because I didn't want to have be that kid that everybody gonna come. Oh, yo, Arrington, you want to play a game? You want to play a game? Because I already started putting it into my head prior to when I was going to college. And sure enough, when I started my freshman year, those who had game systems, it's like they made that their primary focus. Some people knew how to juggle and do time management when it comes to studies and this and that and the other, but a lot of them were like glued to their game system. And then those who had it, everybody, flocked to them, and it was just like, I didn't want to have that kind of attention. Because some people got their stuff stolen and whatnot. So I'm like, nah, I didn't want to do it. And then of course my sophomore year in college, I started working on my business planning because I thought of a business idea, and so my main focus was school, friends, pushing to graduate, but and also my business. So I didn't have time for the game system, and on top of that too game system are expensive as hell. All right. They're just too expensive. I mean, they're at the lowest of like $70. I'm like, nah, I don't my pocket ain't that big enough. I could be a rich man. I could spend that on other stuff. But I just thought that fun fact was interesting. So let me go ahead and digress from that. I want to move on to our first story of the day. I don't know if y'all have heard this, but a gentleman by the name of Daniel Penny. All right, Daniel Penny. If that name rings a bell to any of you all, that's because he made headlines a while back where he had placed a homeless man that apparently was aggravating uh individuals on a sub uh at a train station in New York on the sub. Um, where he, kind of held the guy down, but he put him in a chokehold. But the thing is, he never let go. He put him in a chokehold. He ended up killing the man. Some folks were calling him, hey, hero. Some folks call him a criminal. So I want to read you on because recently it was stated by ABC News that the jury was unable to come to a unanimous vote on Daniel Penny's manslaughter charge. So the question is, what's next for Daniel Penny? All right, what's next for Daniel Penny? Says here that the obviously they were unable to come with the unanimous vote on whether Penny committed second degree manslaughter in the death of Jordan Neely on a New York City subway. Now, let me go ahead and read more of this into content, Stranger. Uh, the reason why they dropped is because jurors tells judge they can't agree. Now, it says here that the judge in the Daniel Penny case. Now, by the way, Daniel Penny served in our military. The further I read more, I can probably find exactly which branch he served because I don't want to quote the wrong branch. But it says here that the judge in a Daniel Penny's trial for death of Jordan Neely dismissed the second degree manslaughter charge against him recently after the jury twice said they were unable to reach a unanimous decision. Now, uh, hold on real quick. The dismissal of the charge clears the way for the juror to decide on the lesser charge of a criminal negligent homicide, which carries up to 4 years in prison. Penny could have faced up to 15 in prison if convicted of manslaughter, which is no longer on the table. Now, the juror informed the judge they were unable to reach unanimity. I can't even say that word. That's a tough one. On the manslaughter charge, but the judge ordered them to keep deliberating. Now, at around 3 p.m., the jury came back with a second note saying that they were still unable to reach an agreement. The defense moved for a mistrial, but the judge granted the prosecution request to dismiss the charge, clearing the way for the juror to decide on a criminal negligent homicide. The juror was sent home for the day and will remain at home till otherwise. Now, Penny, who's 26 years old, was charged in the chokehold death of Neely aboard a subway last year. The Marine veteran pleaded not guilty to manslaughter and criminal negligent homicide charges. The judge instructed that the jury at the beginning of deliberations that they must agree on the manslaughter charge before they can even consider the second degree charge of criminally negligent homicide. The juror has been told all along that if they were to find Penny guilty of second degree manslaughter, they would not have to issue a decision on a lesser count. Here's the thing, guys, before I kind of read forward, because I've given you a wide range of what had happened. Daniel Penny, young guy, former Marine vet. He sees a black man who's homeless, who's acting irate on a subway train. So if y'all haven't been on a subway train or even been to New York City or any large metro city, when you have homeless people that wanders, sometimes you're going to interact with one that are missing some screws upstairs. All right. You either do two things: you ignore them or you interact with them. Most of the time people ignore them. My wife and I, we were recently in we were leaving DC, taking the train. We were on Union Station, and in the station you have a lot of homeless people that wanders. They ask because they know for sure that, hey, look, there's a ton of people up there. Let me ask them for for money or for food or something. And there's some people that just, you can tell life hit them very hard. They might be onto something, and it's just sad. That's that exists in our world. But Daniel Penny took the made an executive decision to defend the folks that were on the train that seemed to be petrified or scared of this Jordan Neely and to look at him as a threat. So that enticed Daniel Penny to place him in a chokehold. Now, here's the issue. For one, when you take matters in your own hands and you're not a part of law enforcement, usually it's already a big no-no, because they want folks that basically, hey, if you want to be out there and be a hero, they're like, okay, it's going to come with consequences. But another thing is the fact that you already had him in a chokehold. There had to be a point where he was already like, I'm done. I'm on the ground. Sometimes if you can turn your body around face down and then just hold him down. Now, here's my thought process. If there's multiple people on a subway, one person already took the had attempted, got the man down. Look, help Daniel Penny in that case. Don't just leave it to one man. Now, I'm not too sure if others try to help Daniel Penny out, or if other folks saying, okay, you can let go. The fact of the matter is he didn't let go. You choked the man to death. And that right there is like, okay, that's a bit too much. You can easily put somebody to sleep, but the fact that you didn't let go is a bit much. Now, there's many people that said, oh, he's a hero. I'm glad he was there because the man was going irate. There's some folks that are frustrated the fact that it was a white man that choked out a black man. Now, I don't know if those same folks had the same mindset, or if they think like that was on the subway. Because here's the thing: a lot of outside names have been criticizing this case in Daniel Penny. A lot of folks are just frustrated. I get it. The headline alone, it sucks. Now, we weren't there. All we can share is what they're sharing in the courts and in certain statements. Let me read. Let's see. It says here that jurors requested to watch cell phone and police body cam footage of the incident, as well as Penny's interview at the police. They saw all that, still can't come to agree, right? Okay, let me continue. They also wanted to hear read back of the defense cross examination of the New York City medical examiner who performed Neely's autopsy, ruled his cause of death compression of the neck. So that right there tells you he died from being choked. There was no weapon, by the way, from this Jordan Neely. There was no weapon. Jurors also asked for part of the judge's instructions, as well as the legal definition of recklessness and negligent to reread to them. They also have asked the judge for clarification on the term reasonable person. Now, prosecutors have argued that while Penny's intentions were good in restraining Neely, see, this we're coming back into play, y'all. He had him in a chokehold for too long. Y'all, this is my big issue, honestly, with open carry, because not everybody is a hero. Not everybody wants to be the Rambos. Everybody wants to see what they see in the movies. Look, I'm all for protecting your household, but when you are open carrier, look, there's a thin line between saying it and saying I don't know anybody on how they react and whatever. Everybody thinks, well, I got this gun to protect me and this and that and the other. Protect you from who? If you are, is the mob after you? Is the gang after you? Who are you protecting? So, boom, they always say, well, if somebody tries to rob, look, I got my gun with me in my holster. Alrighty, but here's the thing. That's not your job. That's law enforcement. They here to serve and protect and serve, not you. Now, don't get me wrong. Mr. Penny served the country, 26 years old, former Marine. He served the country. I'm pretty sure at the time he was not active duty. He served the country, but having that mindset still put him in that heroic role, right? But again, the issue is, bro, once he's down, he's down. You just didn't let go. And to me, that does serve consequences. Now, does that mean he serves 4 years? Most likely. It will be sad because of the family of that individual, but then they're going to say, okay, if this man was, disturbed in the head, Neely, that is, why was he out and about by himself in a public atmosphere? Right? That's my big thing. Like, if there's folks out there that are going through some things and they're, mentally disturbed, why are they out in the public by themselves? When I hear the families of the individuals speak out, why did you allow him to be out by himself? That's just that's a big no-no, y'all. Why? Because now see what occurred. Maybe if he was with a family, somebody could have calmed him down. Penny's defense has argued he wasn't using pressure during the hold, just holding Neely down. Now, a defense witness also disagreed with the medical examiner cause of death determination, arguing that Neely died due to a combination of factors, including drugs and sickle cell crisis. Now, that just sounds like the same response of the whole George Floyd case, because a lot of folks are saying he didn't die off of knee in the neck. He died because he was on drugs. He died. Idiots have shared that, and honestly, we've all seen the tape. The man put all his pressure on that man's neck, suffocating him. The man said he couldn't breathe. So please spare me those who disagree with me on that one. But I just wanted to bring this up to y'all. That again, Daniel Penny, who was on trial for at the time for killing Jordan Neely, they've officially took the manslaughter charge off the drawing board. So because the jury cannot come on an agreement with that. So, share your thoughts, guys. I'm curious. I want to hear your thoughts on this case. Do you think, bring the question at the bottom, do you think Daniel Penny is a hero and or a criminal? What's your thoughts, guys? What's your thoughts on this? We have a new administration heading into the White House soon. So would they pardon him and give him a medal? I mean, come on. But Trump has given folks honors that, in my opinion, I'm like, oh, I don't know if he should receive that. Public figures have already come out to share their support of Daniel Penny, like golfer successful golfer, pro golfer Phil Mickelson. He praises Daniel Penny for protecting subway passengers. Um, Says here that yeah, he thanked him for serving our country as a Marine veteran. And he just again thanked him for protecting the passengers on that subway. So there's folks that are criticizing him. There's folks that are giving him praise. We will never know, y'all. We will never know. The justice system is it's a weird place. It's weird how it's working right now. Let me go ahead and move it on from there, and move on to the next story that is pretty serious, y'all. So I don't know if y'all have heard about this, but recently Jay-Z, that's right, Jay-Z, media mogul, entrepreneur, uh what else? Entrepreneur, multi-time award-winning rapper artist, was recently accused of rape along with Diddy in this whole case. I'm telling you, it's getting ugly. It really is getting ugly. It was already ugly from the get-go, but this was just posted on Complex that Jay-Z has been accused in a refiled civil lawsuit of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000 with Diddy. Now, the unanimous accuser says the assault happened after she was driven to an MTV VMAs after party. What is a 13-year-old doing at an after party? Who drove her to an after party? It's just man, let me tell you something. I don't get it, y'all. I don't get it. Now, this article is reported by E News. Says here that Jay-Z denies allegation of raping 13-year-old girl with Sean Diddy Combs. Says here that Jay-Z is speaking after a woman accused him in a civil lawsuit of raping her with she was 13 when she was 13 along with Sean Diddy Combs. Now, here's one thing that always, it's always hard to believe that if this is true or not. Civil lawsuits, is most likely that they're trying to sue for some money. All right. It's unfortunate, but that's how is that really justice in this case? Says here that the accuser identified anonymously as Jane Doe refiled a sexual assault civil lawsuit. She had originally filed against Combs in October, adding his longtime friend and additional defendant. Now, per NBC News, she alleges in the new documents that in 2000, when she was 13, the two raped her at a house party following the MTV Video Music Awards in New York City. Jay-Z's real name is Sean Carter, issued a statement on E! News hours after the suit was filed, addressing the lawyer who filed it, Tony Bugsby. Bugsby said that these allegations are so yes, it says here that these allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Said that, yelled it out. He said to a statement with NBC News, whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if they were the case. Carter noted the idiotic claims you have levied against me, and alleges that before refiling the suit, Bugsby had contacted the rapper's own attorney to try to reach a settlement. What he had calculated, he alleged in a statement, was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. Now, E! News have reached out to Bugsby for the comment and has not head back. Carter shares. Carter has 3 kids along with his wife Beyonce. Added that his only heartbreak is for his family. He said, "My wife and I have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people." Amen to that. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. Now, Carter then reflected on his own childhood. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honor, adding that we protect children. Another amen to that. The lawsuit marks one of several sexual abuse civil suits filed against Combs in recent months, and the first to include him and an additional celebrity as a defendant. Combs is currently in jail awaiting trial on on federal sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy charges, for which he plans to plead not guilty. He has denied any wrongdoing of all cases. Now, Combs' attorneys have previously called the Barrington of filings attempt to garner publicity. Mr. Combs, and this from his attorneys, Mr. Combs and his legal team have full confidence in the facts that their legal defense and the integrity of the judicial process in court, the truth will prevail that Mr. Combs have never sexually assaulted anyone, adult or minor, man or woman. This is serious. This is some serious stuff right here, guys. Now, I don't know if you recall episodes ago, I replayed a soundbite from this former singer that was on I will say former singer and professional crap starter. I can't say the full word that I want to say, but she was on the Pierce Morgan program. I believe it was called Uncensored, and she had shared some huge allegations against the couple, Jay-Z and Beyonce. And it was so off the wall. I'm like, what in the world? And of course, somebody like a Pierce Morgan, this day and age in his career, he brings controversy because it's about likes and controversy sells. Um, he then went on like to the next show to apologize, which because he received that cease and desist letter from the Carter team, in regards to that, and he changed his ways immediately, just like that. Was not playing around, and so we will continue to follow up more with this story. I know this won't be the first we're gonna hear about it. It's discussing the fact that we got to hear about this through during the holiday season, because it's just disgusting. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. I want to read a statement from Jay-Z's. Let me see. I think this is some more from attorney Tony Busby responds after Jay-Z denies. I think this is another. Okay. Uh, Tony Busby had said regarding the Jay-Z case and his efforts to silence my clients. Mr. Carter, this is okay. This is the word from Tony Busby. Mr. Carter previously denied being the one who sued me and my firm. He filed his frivolous case under a pseudonym. What he fails to say in his recent statement is my firm sent his lawyer a demand letter on behalf of an alleged victim, and that victim never demanded a penny from him. Now, instead, she only sought a confidential mediation. Since I sent the letter on her behalf, Mr. Carter has not only sued me, but he has tried to bully and harass me and this plaintiff. Now, his conduct has had the opposite impact. She is emboldened. I'm very proud of her. As far as allegations in the complaint filed, we will let the filing speak for itself, and we'll litigate the facts in court, not the media. Again, y'all, this is getting intense. I'm not going to speak too more on it. But all I can say is innocent until proven guilty. You just don't know. Coming from the public, you just don't know in cases like this. I could only share my thoughts personally on the Diddy, because that's one is very much been set in stone. We know how that's going. But as for Jay-Z is concerned, we just don't know. But what I can ask for you, the listeners and viewers out there, is what's your thoughts on this case? What is your thoughts? Please leave us a comment, DM me, or you can text us at our number 757-955-0656. Again, that number. Text us what you think on the Jay-Z allegations, as well as the Daniel Penny case. Text us at 757-955-0656. All right, my friends. Look, we're going to take a quick breather. We're going to come back with more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Don't go anywhere. You're tuned into the Arrington Gavin Show.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
rugged is the new smooth.
Welcome back, my friends. Welcome back. All right. So, let's see here. So recently I was watching on CNN, Congressman out of New York, Jamal Bowmen, who recently he had lost his re-election bid in the primaries, and so he is now kind of sharing his true thoughts on why Democrats lost the recent election. Now, you know, he recently lost in the New York primary. Again, he's saying, hey, look, now I can, share what's on my mind. I can give you my true thoughts on certain things, which he was always very vocal. Don't get me wrong. He was a guy that never held back his true feeling towards someone or a cause, but he's kind of been in the news when he was in office. He did a couple of controversial things. Like, I mean, man flipped a fire alarm during session. Why? I don't know. It's weird because he's a former high school principal. You think he knows better, but because that's something that he would probably criticize the students for doing in the school system. But he recently was on CNN and he had gave his thoughts on why Democrats lost the election. So let me go ahead and play the soundbite for you all, and then we'll talk on the other side.
We lost this race in 2021 when Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema did not support Build Back Better. That was our economic populist plan. It was universal childcare, universal pre-K, affordable housing, jobs, something to help people tangibly. Inflation happened, prices went up, they never came back down. Republicans were moving as a well-oiled machine. It's the Democrats' fault. Democrats. We never had a response. We never recovered. But this goes back to two moderate Democrats. And I want to say this explicitly because everyone wanted to jump off a cliff. Oh, she ran too far to the left. No, she did not. She never criticized corporations, never called them out for their price gouging because it wasn't Democrats, it's corporate price gouging. She didn't run to the left. It was two moderates, Sinema and Manchin, killed Build Back Better, killed our economic agenda. We lost this race in 20.
So I want to kind of sink that in for a little bit. I want to sink that in because what he's saying is not false. I mean, in regards to not having a full oil machine like the Republicans had. I mean, the Democrats were falling into some conflicts with then Democratic Senator Christian Sinema and then Democratic Senator Joe Manchin. They hit some walls on that. Now, do I think the economic plan, the way Congressman Bowman is speaking on would have that won the race? I really don't know. I really, at this level, I really don't know. I think it could have definitely helped and made it a tighter race than it was, because at the end of the day, people are talking about, what's going to happen with my pockets, what's going to happen, what's happening in, with certain bills and this and that. I still, to this day, even if they would have stood back and support Kamala Harris, I don't know who they voted for. I'll be honest. The strategy, bro. The strategy. That one simple thing could not have turned around this ass beat of an election. All right. That was an ass whooping of a win for the Republican Party. Those two people, you can't say is the reason why the Democrats lost the House and the Senate. You can't, come on, dude. Come on. There are things that you can consider very far left that has been a standstill for the Democratic Party. Like, for example, the transgender competing in, say, all female or all male sports leagues, right? The bathroom issue. That is stuff that still doesn't agree with the average day voter, Democrat or Republican. It does not. The fact of the matter is, strategy is what lost, is why the Democrats lost. When you have a video clip, of a of then Vice President Kamala Harris saying that she's for the transgender surgery for inmates, that's taxpayer dollars right there, bro. How do you overcome that? Is that economic plan? Is that no? So that's what they meant when it comes to far. Look, I use the term woke as, what's the opposite of woke? You sleep. So I use it as staying informed. Now, in the world of politics, mainly on the left, mainly on the right, they have twisted that word to show that, okay, when there's people that get because there's extremists on both sides, but you do have a huge number of extreme extremists on the left, with the whole Hamas and Israel issue. That was a big deal of why most regular Democratic voters didn't lean towards Kamala Harris. And guess what? You are part of the squad, bro. So don't try and say that just blame it on two people. Yes, could they been an issue with that? Yeah, they were. That's why they left the Democratic Party. They're independents now. Joe Manchin, who's retired now, considers herself an independent. Kristen Sinema, she considers herself an independent now. I didn't think that was a big issue. Now, I really didn't. My issue is, don't get elected don't get elected as this and then change your ways while you're in office. Because to me, it's like you kind of cheat your way and through the system and say, okay, look, I have a better chance winning as this, so let me go ahead and win, get in, and then let me change my way and my taxes. Because I feel like you're lying to the voters, for those who really voted you in. Or you can stay behind on what you stood for. So I just wanted to put that in there, because I still feel like that Democrats they're not taking full credit on the loss that they've received. Like they're still recovering, but they need to wake up and just, again, criticize, grow a backbone. This is the whole reason why Charlamagne the God and Whoopi Goldberg was butting heads. Charlemagne, like myself, has said, look, my person I voted didn't win, but please, I can criticize that person as well. Why doesn't that the Democratic Party ever grow a pair and criticize them when they do something wrong? Why? Republicans need to do the same thing, but why don't Democrats do that? Like, that's the whole issue with the whole two-party system, in my opinion. But I digress. Let me move it on because I'm looking at my time. I'm running. Got about less than 9 minutes left. Um, Speaking of Charlemagne the God, he recently was defending Andrew Schultz. All right, Andrew Schultz is a comedian, podcaster. I had an opportunity of going to see one of Andrew Schultz shows at the Virginia Beach Funny Bone. It was dope. Had a blast. Great comedian. Andrew Schultz is known to be, controversial. He doesn't care what he says. I can say uh I don't know. I wouldn't put him a part of the Joe Rogan group of comedians because he's just, I mean, he's a funny guy. I think he can be welcome in all rooms, black rooms, white rooms. Well, I don't know about black rooms now, but before he definitely was. But he's a podcaster, a host of Flagrant 2 podcast, as well as Brilliant Idiots, along with Charlemagne the God, radio Hall of Famer. And recently Kendrick Lamar had criticized Andrew Schultz for, I believe, making comedic jokes about black women, and then Andrew Schultz responded to Kendrick, and it's not looking good for Andrew Schultz. So this reported by the Jasmine brand says here that Kendrick Lamar fans have allegedly threatened to kill Andrew Schultz family over controversial sexual assault joke Charlemagne the God shows weighs in. Now, Andrew Schultz and Charlemagne God recently reflected on the backlash from the latter controversial joke about sexually assaulting Kendrick Lamar. There's a clip on social media you can check out, but I want to read it more into, I think, is it not? Oh man, I want to read it more into context, but says here that, long story short, uh Charlemagne the God defended his co-host and friend Andrew Schultz, saying that since when are we the comedy police? Since when do we basically shut up comedians for making a joke? Um, I'll be honest, I don't disagree with Charlemagne the God. I feel as though comedians should have that that card to be unfiltered, to share what's on their mind. Now, as long as it's they don't overdo it, because you do have comedians that really overdo stuff of the exact same style. To me, that's when you're like you're really you're hitting a nerve there, in my opinion. Um, but I don't think that you should be criticized if he makes I don't know, like a 3 minute joke on something, then moves it on to a whole nother thing. Like, I shouldn't have to worry about a 3 minute joke from a 1 hour set and say, oh, we should criticize this guy. No, he's a joke. One of my favorite comedians of all time, Bernie Mac, the late great Bernie Mac. Trust and believe, he said some things that were off the wall. I guarantee if he was still living today, he would be canceled in a heartbeat. But no one criticized him. Why? Because it was jokes. He didn't mean it personally. Just like Dave Chappelle, just like all the greats. I mean, Cat Williams, Ron White. Now I can tell you one person, Roseanne, who used to be my girl. I love the Roseanne show. Roseanne has gone a little bit out there. I will say. I will say. She's a bit questionable. But guys, like, I mean, Andrew Schultz, man, hilarious. A true talent. The man sold out Madison Square Garden twice. Twice. I mean, you're killing me, people. Like, when do you, and again, it's just, when do you just let them be, and just, you gotta have some unfilteredness out there. Free speech, but as long as it's not specifically, like hate speech. Let's see here. Let me see. I'm reading this off of TMZ. Let me see if I can um okay, it says here that the Flagrant podcast title suggests Schultz got extremely graphic, describing his intentions with Kendrick's rear end. I would like, and I'm quoting, I would like to make love to Kendrick and there's nothing that he could do about it. If we're in a cell and we're bored and we're done tattooing each other, whatever you do in the cell, and we ran out of board games, and we do all the other things, and we cleaned everything, I'm like, man, I might as well explicit you. Oh, okay, you got that. I'm not gonna repeat it. There's nothing he can physically do to stop me. All right, that's a lot, but again, the man's not serious. This is a man that's married with a wife and kids. All right, he was not serious. Comedians say, and on top of that too, he's a white guy. Let's be honest. When it comes to black humor and white humor, it's a different cultures have different humors, right? But it was a joke. It was a joke. In case viewers were missed out of detail, Schultz outlined how he put Kendrick's legs in the air and oh my gosh. I mean, again, this is all jokes. It's funny just reading it because it's disgusting, but I know I'm familiar with Andrew Schultz. Let's see here. It says another co-host in the conversation flagrant co-host Alex Media added his 2 cents to the convo on behalf of African Americans, declaring Schultz sexually dominated K. was the dream that the late Martin Luther King Jr. fought for before he was assassinated. He since limited his IG comments. Schultz was firing back with Kendrick for laying the law down about white comedians joking about black women, but several members of the hip hop community came at his neck. Whoo, it doesn't look good. O'Shea Jackson Jr., the son of Ice Cubes, shared his thoughts. Punch TDE shared his thoughts as well. Meek Mill defended his heterosexuality once again and called out Schultz for emasculating black men, but was also reminded he LOL'd at the comedian's gay jokes about his Diddy association earlier in the year. Again, it's like you're choosing what jokes you like, and then the jokes you don't like, you criticize that person. That's how I see it in this case. Am I wrong? I love going to see. I'm a huge fan of stand-up comedy. I've seen them all, from Andrew Schultz of the world to George Lopez of the world to Eddie Griffin, right? You don't get any blacker than Eddie Griffin. You don't get any whiter than Andrew Schultz. You don't get any more Latin American than George Lopez. I've seen them all. I think, and I agree with Charlemagne in this case. I think that people need to chillax in their overreacting, especially the setting of this. This was on his podcast. That is a comedic based podcast. Now, remember, I spoke on a while back about Tony Hinchcliffe, who made the jokes about Puerto Rico during a Trump rally. I don't think Hinchcliffe comments were to offend, Hispanics, but I just think it was a poor choice. It was a poor joke to do at that setting. But again, I guess you could say it was on brand with the movement of the MAGA in a case like that. My friends, look, I'm running out of time, but real quick, I wanted to mention that we won our first ever award, my friends. We won our first ever award. We're honored to be that we've received best podcast at the 2024 Blendsville Award. That's right. The Arrington Gavin Show has received best podcast at the 2024 Black Men's Rocks. At the Blendsville Awards, 2024 Blendsville Award. I'm resting because I'm running a little low on time. So that was our huge announcement, my friends. Look, I will talk to you all next time. Stay blessed. So I'll share the show.